Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about, is the Bitcoin bottom in? I'm going to share my thoughts. I'm going to let you know where we're at and what I think is going to happen with the future of cryptocurrency. More importantly, I'm going to share with you what I'm doing to invest in this crazy bear market. But let's address why you're here. You want to know if the Bitcoin bottom is in, and you want to know if this is a good time to buy. I got the idea for this video when I came across this news headline here: Bitcoin in accumulation phase, on-chain indicators suggest. And when you go through this article and you read it, what it's saying is, hey, Bitcoin miners are not selling as much Bitcoin as they were based on what we can see with the transactions on the actual blockchain. This is something that they refer to as miner flow. And since miners appear to be holding on to their Bitcoin and not selling as much of it, then it's very possible that we're in an accumulation phase. And typically, most crypto traders and investors suggest that an accumulation phase happens before the next bull run. So the idea is we're no longer selling, people are starting to accumulate, and if enough people start accumulating, then we end up seeing the price rise and we end up going into another bull market, just to keep that a little bit oversimplified. Now, I love the indicator of miner flow. I love knowing what the miners are doing on the blockchain. You can't fake that. You can't fudge that. You can't manipulate that but so much. So I think it's a great indicator, and I actually think it's better than looking at a lot of price charts for me personally. Now, I believe in cryptocurrency, and I believe in Bitcoin. Now, what you need to understand about crypto wealth in this channel is that long term, we are incredible optimists. I believe the name of this channel is Crypto Wealth because part of being an early adopter is recognizing that this technology has nowhere to go but up. Overall, I'm the guy who believes that Bitcoin is going to one day hit $1 million. But is that today? No. We're sitting at a Bitcoin price of $20,000. Do I think that we're in the accumulation phase, or do I think that we're going to go lower? Well, if you've been following my channel, you saw that I put out a video recently where I actually said that Bitcoin is going to crash below 5,000. I'll link this video. I'll put it in the description. I'll link it. I'll put a card above as well. But let's take a step back and let's look at the overall market sentiment. There's an indicator that I like to watch that is called the Fear and Greed Index. Now, this is you can find this at alternative.me/crypto/fear and greed index, or you can just Google Fear and Greed Index alternative.me and you'll get it. Right now, we are in extreme fear, and I love to watch this index periodically. As a whole, I like to buy when we're in fear. When other people are selling, I like to buy. It's far more advantageous to buy in a weak market. I mean, if Bitcoin, for example, drops from, let's come back over here, if it drops from 20,000 and goes to 10,000, well, if you bought in at 20, you lose 50% of your portfolio. But if you're able to buy in at 10 and it goes back to 20, you double your money. So I would much rather buy into weakness as opposed to selling it, but you have to be very careful what you're buying, how you're buying, and you have to understand that prices could go lower. Even though overall I believe in the short-term prices going lower, I am still buying and I am still investing not just in Bitcoin but the overall crypto ecosystems. But I follow a different set of rules in a bear market, and I'll cover that a little bit later in the video. I wanted to right now talk about why I don't believe the bottom is in and why I believe that the market could go lower. The number one reason is the overall market sentiment. The market sentiment really has more to do with the price of cryptocurrency, in my personal opinion, in the short term than any other indicating factor, period. As long as this market sentiment is still showing extreme fear, then I believe there's a strong likelihood that price is going lower. Nothing in this video is financial advice, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a very passionate cryptocurrency enthusiast. But I also want to show you something else. The majority expect Bitcoin to hit USD 10,000 before moving higher, suggested this survey that was recently done. Short story is basically that a recent survey shows that a lot of people believe that Bitcoin is going to go lower. We're sitting at 20,000. 10,000 is going to be cutting in half. And again, I believe, of course, it could possibly go even lower than that. And the reason I believe that it could drop so much lower, and the reason I don't believe the bottom is in, is because right now, when you're having economic weakness, now we recently had a really good jobs number, but the average person sitting at home can't, they're not going to know if, there's a few extra jobs in society. What do they understand? They understand how they feel. How far is their dollar going? How expensive are prices at the grocery store? And that's going to overall affect their personal sentiment about the economy. Gas prices have been going up. Yes, they've pulled back a little bit, thankfully. But if they don't continue to pull back significantly, people's dollars are not going as far. Therefore, they're going to have the average person is going to feel that the economy is not doing very well. You combine that with the average cryptocurrency investor who actually is not looking at macroeconomics. The average cryptocurrency investor is looking for a quick win. Right now in crypto, it's hard to find a very quick win. So again, I think that negative news is going to affect the price far more than if we get a little bit of positive news. Used to, if you got any positive news, the price of crypto would just spike really, really hard. I don't see that happening right now because I think that the overall market sentiment is still pointed down. And I believe that there's several news headlines waiting to break that could potentially be very negative for crypto overall. What am I talking about? Robust regulation is needed in crypto stablecoin sector, says the G20 advisory body ahead of its report in October. So there's a report that's going to be coming out later in October this year, and they're basically giving us a warning right now. Basically, 20 largest economically developed countries are looking for crypto regulations. And it's always weird when you see these G20, G7 advisory boards. You always wonder, like, who is actually setting policy here? Who is smart enough, fair enough, unbiased enough to actually make incredibly powerful recommendations to an international body like the 20 most powerful, economically powerful countries in the world? Who's advising these people? In a press release from the Financial Stability Board, which advises the G20 on economic policy matters, the board claims that it was working to ensure that crypto assets were subject to robust regulation and supervision. First of all, again, who makes up the Financial Stability Board? Where are these Mother Teresas? Where are these noble good Samaritans that are out there protecting the average small investor? Or are these people with traditional banking backgrounds put in power by extremely powerful lobbyists who pay their paychecks? Where are these people coming from? Right now, crypto is so new. I think it's pretty safe to say that there's no strong pro-crypto people right now sitting on this board that's advising or world governments about economic policy. The Financial Stability Board added that it intends to report the G20's finance ministers and central bank governors in October on regulatory and supervisory approaches to stablecoins and other crypto assets. But we talked about on this channel how central bank digital currencies are in direct conflict with stablecoins. And I believe that this is just a sign, a hint at stablecoin regulations. And strong stablecoin regulations, I believe, could absolutely collapse, tank, decimate Bitcoin price right now. Stablecoins underpin the price. Most people use stablecoins, most people invest in stablecoins, and there are direct correlation with the use of stablecoins and the price of Bitcoin going up. The more stablecoins get used, the more the price of Bitcoin seems to go up. The moment that we lose the stablecoin market, it forces people to either, they're no longer going to have a good safe haven to put their digital currency. So they're either going to have to sell Bitcoin to move back to actual dollars, or they're going to have to take their stablecoin and go back into crypto. I think the majority of people holding stablecoins want to be in a dollar asset. Therefore, they're more likely to liquidate stablecoins and go to US dollars, which is going to be pulling funds directly out of the crypto market and make it that much more difficult for those funds to go back into, let's say, Bitcoin, for example. The U.S. is already getting on board with this. U.S. Treasury releases framework for international crypto regulations. I find these two stories to be somewhat related. We basically have the G20 advisory board telling the G20 what to do, and we see here that the U.S. Treasury is releasing their own framework for international crypto regulation. Here, the U.S. is saying, hey, we're in charge. Hey, we want to exert our will. Hey, we want to do our best to be relevant. We want to do our best to create regulations and framework for international bodies to abide by. That's also going to be beneficial for the U.S. economic policies going forward as well on the international stage. Now, all of this is very weird. All of this is nothing but one big power play after another. At the end of the day, where do you and I as individual investors sit? And by the way, if you go through this, they specifically talk about the framework is intended to ensure that Americans' core democratic values are respected, pointing to reducing the potential use of crypto for illicit finance, promoting access to financial services, supporting technological advancement, and reinforcing U.S. leadership in the global financial system. There is so much nothing commentary here. Like, this is absolutely a propaganda statement if there ever was one. Let's just break down this a little bit. The framework is to ensure that America's core democratic values are respected. I don't know. I think Bitcoin has done more to allow average people to be banked than the U.S. dollar ever has, pointing to reducing the potential use of crypto for illicit finance. Okay, but what about the U.S. dollar? The U.S. dollar is used for more illicit finance than any cryptocurrency ever has been. Promoting access to financial services. Really? because centralized financial services are actually easier to access. That's why we have so many people that are unbanked. That's garbage. Supporting technological advancement and reinforcing U.S. leadership in the global financial system. I think ultimately this is what this framework is really about: reinforcing, supporting, posturing U.S. leadership in the global financial system. What say you? Let me know down in the comments. Inadequate anti-money laundering and combating the financing of terrorism, regulating, supervision, and enforcement by other countries, challenging the ability of the U.S. to investigate illicit drug asset transaction flows that frequently jump overseas, as is often the case in ransomware payments and other cyber crime related money laundering. In other words, we can't see what you're doing, where you're doing, and who you're doing it with. Therefore, this is a problem, and we have to protect John Q. Public average person out there. I don't know about you, but I personally I'm not worried about North Korea or some other big actor getting access to my crypto. I know if my crypto is in my wallet, it's protected. That's all that matters. Not your keys, not your crypto. But yet, here we go with these regulations. In terms of international cooperation and coordination, the Treasury Department said it would engage with policymakers and regulators at the G7 on issues related to digital assets, including central bank digital currencies. Here we go. And integrate new technologies into the international monetary system. To me, this whole paragraph right here just says we're going to create more centralization, and more centralization for your own good. At the end of the day, crypto, specifically stablecoins, are going to be direct competition for central bank digital currencies. And I believe we know that we're going to have central bank digital currencies coming out. We know that America is behind many countries already in testing their central bank digital currencies, and that America is trying to catch up. And at this point in time, I think that the overall cryptocurrency market, particularly the stablecoin market, threatens central bank digital currencies. I don't see the regulations coming forward as being overall positive for crypto. I've been saying that on this channel for some time, and every now and again I'll get someone they'll say, well, why do you think we're going to have negative regulations? Why do you think regulations are going to be bad? And I'm always thinking to myself, because you just have to read the headlines. What is the motive behind government to control their monetary policy, to be able to set interest rates, to be able to decrease interest rates, to be able to be in charge of who prints money or who creates money, which, by the way, makes a lot of sense, and I can fully understand that as a citizen. And if I was, a powerful politician, maybe I would tend to be on their side if I trusted the quote-unquote system as a whole. But as an individual investor, I believe that the system oftentimes is rigged against us. And I believe that removing our ability to access cryptocurrency is in the best interest of anyone who wants to protect central bank digital currencies. But I believe that that's not helpful for me or you as the average public. Again, none of this is financial advice. Now you may be thinking, so crypto wealth, you sound like you're negative on this. I'm not. I'm negative in the short term, meaning I understand in the short term we may have regulations, but long term I don't think it matters. That's what you have to understand. Long term, this is a dog and pony show. Long term, the average investor will take back control of their finances. The decentralized blockchain technology cannot be erased. The technology is here to stay. They may limit access, they may make it difficult to access, but long term, if the central governments of the world continue to abuse their financial policies and their monetary system, and it continues to hurt the average citizen, and if it creates enough pain for the average citizen, eventually people can, should they choose, they can opt out of the current financial system. Therefore, I believe that we're on a trend that can't be stopped. Every major government in the history of the world, if they have not, if they've not collapsed because of conquest, they oftentimes collapse because of their own misuse of the public treasury, meaning they could not afford their own government eventually, and that caused an economic collapse. And another country came along and was stronger. Another superpower, another power in the world became a lot stronger. So I believe long term in this technology. That's why I'm still an investor. That's why I'm still buying. But I also believe that we're going to have a bumpy road ahead. I think it's important not to get deterred. If you believe in a long term, if you guys started investing in Bitcoin, then it doesn't matter whether the Bitcoin bottom is in or not. Is your underlying thesis, is your underlying belief still intact? For me personally, it is. Therefore, I'm still buying because I'm never going to be able to predict the exact bottom. What changes is what I'm investing in. So I like to invest in projects that I think are going to be here long after regulations hit. I like to invest in projects right now in the short to medium term that are able to produce an income because of their underlying mechanics, not because of token values. Meaning, I like to invest in projects that allow me to earn a passive revenue stream, where that revenue stream is not based on just printing additional tokens. I recently put out a video how to earn $1,000 per day in a bear market. I'll link that video above. I'll put it down in the description. But this video talks specifically about various business models that are able to produce an income. And we are able, as crypto investors, to be able to capture part of that income. That's the sort of thing that I like to invest in. If nothing else, I'm all about earning passive income in cryptocurrency. At the end of the day, do I believe that the crypto bottom is in? Do I believe that we're in an accumulation phase? It's very possible that miners are accumulating, but as a whole, I think that we're more likely to see far more downward pressure, and I hope that I'm wrong. But it doesn't mean that I'm not buying. 3 things that I'm doing right now. I'm always dollar cost averaging into Apex assets, primary assets in the cryptocurrency space. We're talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a few others. And I may share with you what those are in another video. So be sure to subscribe down below if you want to see what other assets I'm investing in. The other thing that I like to invest in right now is I like to invest in algorithmic stablecoin projects. By the way, I've got a whole nother video that may be coming out talking about Aave. Aave is looking to roll out a decentralized stablecoin. I think decentralized stablecoins are necessary. I have an entire playlist on my channel talking about algorithmic stablecoins and some strategies to invest in them. The problem is none of them have actually succeeded yet. At the end of the day, cryptocurrency is about diversification and risk management. And dollar cost averaging and APAS access is part of that risk management. At the same time, I am a fan, I'm always a fan in the short term of investing in income streams that can produce a return that is far greater than what I initially invest into those projects. I got a project coming up I'm investing in. It looks like it's going to produce about a 500% APR. If you want to know exactly what that project is, go down in the description, subscribe either to our free Crypto Passive Profits newsletter, or come over here and subscribe to our free video course. Reveals a little known method to earn $1,000 per day. Either one of those, if you subscribe to either one of those, then I'm going to be putting out a video specifically for our newsletter subscribers and for our course subscribers, talking about a project that I'm incredibly excited about that I believe could produce a 500% APY. Those are the projects that I like to get in. Now, it may not, that's not a guarantee, of course, but I'm always looking for projects that can produce a good return in the short term. And then the idea is take your profits off the table and keep some profits invested. Stay away from Ponzi schemes, stay away from pyramid schemes, and do your best to get ahead in the crypto space. Ladies and gentlemen, decentralized cryptocurrency equals freedom. It's a crazy world out there. I don't believe the bottom is in, but I believe the future is bright. This is Crypto Wealth. I'm out.